What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? Let's see who's on here. Good morning from Michigan. Welcome, Stacy. Thank you for being here. Glad to have you. I see you guys are popping in. I am excited. Hey, Leola, what's going on? Y'all, we're going to get started on time. As you can see, it's already 12. This is good morning, Lawrence. This is not anything that is structural. I literally only intend to present for like 30 minutes, and I'm opening up for questions. And just to make sure I don't be long-winded, I only did like 2 or 3 slides. Good morning, Letitia. Good morning. Good morning. So I'm so glad you guys are here on a Saturday. You did not think it was robbery of your time to learn some things. For those of you who are, and just so y'all know, this is live. It is November 4th, 12:01 p.m. right now. Okay, because I know people are used to tuning into a pre-recorded webinars, but this one is actually live. I'm sitting here with you. And if you happen to hear me look to the side, happen to see me look to the side or say, shh, that's because I got my 4-year-old grandbaby with me here on this Saturday morning. All right. So my name is Solandia Hammond, AKA Suham Baby. And I do theater. I do real estate investing. I just became a licensed loan officer. I'm a writer and an actor, Marine veteran, and an author, and those are just titles. I don't really care about it. What I really do is I transform people through transforming homes, neighborhoods, and people through education and real estate and entertainment. So that's what I really, really do. I don't care about the titles. I love sharing knowledge. I love seeing people take the knowledge and apply it, because that's the most important thing. Good morning, Tashima. Thank you for joining. I appreciate it. So we're going to keep it really, really short. I'm going to present for about 30, 35 minutes, and then I'm going to open it up for questions. And I'm telling y'all right now, hey, Ethel, right now, that you guys need to have your questions ready, because the goal is 60 minutes of your time on this beautiful Saturday, and that's it. So don't wait till I say, hey, I'm signing off, and then you got questions. Ask your questions when we open up to that question and answer period. Now, I am in the beautiful state of South Carolina. And I love real estate investing. I love what it does for the neighborhoods. It fixes up the neighborhoods. I love what it does for people. It provides them homes. Homes lead to wealth. And I love what it does for me. It provides me income. It provides me profit. So it's a win-win-win. We're cleaning up the community, appreciating the neighborhood. We're providing homes, and we are collecting profits. And I feel like I'm living my purpose through real estate, entertainment, and education. So that's enough about me. The reason why you're on this webinar is because you want to learn how to find and finance properties. Now, I want to be honest with you guys. What I'm probably going to do, I haven't decided yet how often, is probably come live 2 times a month or either once a month and do a series and give information on different things of real estate. It's so many moving parts till it's kind of hard to try to condense everything in a 1-hour webinar. So for those of you that want more information, I'm going to give you a website where you can watch a 2.5-hour webinar that I did, jam-packed with information. And it's free to watch, and you can go watch that. But today we are focusing on how to find properties and how to finance properties. All right. So let's see if I can pull up the old handy dandy slides. There we go. All right. Let me know if you guys can see that. Comment and let me know if you can see that. I'm going to make it bigger. Let's just take me out. Can you guys see that screen? Comment, and then we can keep moving forward. All right, I need somebody to comment. Let me know if you can hear me. All right, cool. And can you still hear me? Yes. Thanks, Stacy. Thanks, Natisha. Can you still hear me? Thanks, Calandria. I'm hoping I pronounced you guys' name right. All right, let's keep it moving. All right, so I hope you have pencil and paper ready, okay? Or screenshot the slide, just let me know. All right, so finding and funding properties is what we're gonna cover in the next 20 to 30 minutes, and then we'll have questions and answers. I appreciate you guys. My official website is moneyWithRealEstate.com. Gotta be very honest with you, I wanna drop a disclaimer. There's so many frauds and phonies and scammers going around to the point where it's kind of hard to know who to trust, right? The disclaimer is nothing about a scam, but I just want y'all to be careful. There's a lot of people giving people money to invest for them, and they're not doing contracts. They're not doing their due diligence. I always encourage people to really never give anybody money without a contract and an attorney involved. Okay. So the disclaimer for this particular class, I just want to be straight up. I'm not a certified financial planner or advisor, nor a certified financial analyst, nor an economist, nor a CPA, nor an accountant, nor a lawyer. The contents on my website, webinars, classes, trainings, or for informational purposes only, and does not constitute financial, accounting, or legal advice. I can't promise that the information shared is appropriate for you or anyone else. By being here on this webinar, class, training, or using my websites and or buying any courses I offer, you agree to hold me and others in this course harmless from any ramifications, financial or otherwise, that occur to you as a result of acting on information found on this training, class, and or website. We always caution everyone to do their due diligence and research. We can't guarantee results because results vary and they're tied to your actions, and I can't govern your actions. So yes, Lawrence, the stream has started. Can you guys see my screen? Because I'm thinking that Lawrence may not be able to see it. Can you guys, if you guys can hear and see me, say, yes, I can hear and see you. That way I can go ahead and move forward. Good deal. Thanks, Pamela. All right. That is the disclaimer, guys. And for anybody that you follow, listen to me clearly. You've seen it. There are a lot of real estate people, man, that are out there that are claiming they can do this and do that. And they're taking your money and telling you they can take your money and invest it into properties and flip your money. Please do not just give somebody your money to flip a property and you have not gone through an attorney for closing. I have a lot of other videos out telling people about how you also need to do title searches on properties, all of this good stuff, because people will take you for a ride. All right, that's enough on that. Let's get back to why we're here. How are we going to find some properties? I'm going to tell you how I find properties, right? And I'm going to tell you how some of my investor friends find property. We are going to Zillow. You're going to hear so many people say, oh, you can't find properties on Zillow. Listen to me clearly. You can check out my Facebook pages. You can check out my YouTube account. You can check out my website, moneywithrealestate.com. I find a lot of properties on Zillow.com. Listen, I'm looking for, because I personally like to rehab properties. I like to find old properties and I like to do value add. And by value add, what I mean is I go in and I fix the properties and then I turn around and I rent the properties out, or either I sell the properties. And so I find the majority of my properties on Zillow, Realtor.com, Trulia, or Redfin. Very simple. I'm looking for properties. I'm going to make my money before I actually purchase the property. I'm looking for properties that I know can generate a profit, right? If a house is going to cost me $20K and it's going to take me $60,000 to fix it, purchase price $20K, $60,000 to fix it, right? And $80,000 all in, and I know it's going to appraise for $150,000. That's a win-win. That's a win-win. I've only got $80,000 invested. It's going to appraise for $150,000. That's a win-win. We're talking about the difference of $70,000 in equity, all right, between what I put in and what the house is worth. So I'm looking for houses on Zillow that meet my criteria. I don't know what your criteria may be, but typically I'm looking for houses that have about 1,000 square feet, between 1,000 square feet to 2,000 square feet. I usually want 3 bedrooms and 2 baths. However, if it has 3 bedrooms and 1 bath, I'm looking at the floor plan to see if there's some way I can squeeze a half a bath in or a full bath. I'm looking to do that because I know most families want a 3-2 or at least 3 1.5. Okay. Next thing I'm doing is I'm looking at my realtor. Listen, my realtor just brought me 8 different properties the other day and it hasn't even hit the market, right? Hit the market means MLS, means Zillow, means Realtor, Trulia, or Redfin.com. My realtor said, hey, the investor who owns this property wanted you to look at these properties first to determine if you wanted them. Now, I would not be given these properties, the opportunity to view these properties, if I had not established a relationship with my realtor. So I'm telling y'all, establish relationships with realtors. It doesn't have to be just one realtor. You can establish relationships with as many realtors as you want. Tell them what you do and have them feed you properties. Sometimes they will feed you properties that they hear from somebody else. It's all about networking. It's all about putting yourself out there and telling people what you're doing. Wholesalers, another great source. What is a wholesaler, Sue? A wholesaler is someone who identifies a seller and identifies a buyer. The wholesaler is the person in the middle. They connect the two. Wholesalers have properties that they are looking to offload. So if you know of any wholesalers, contact them, get on their list. They have a list of investors. Tell them what your criteria is. Tell them where you're looking to buy, the location. Tell them what you're looking for, whether it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, how many square feet. Tell them the price range that you're looking for, and they will feed you properties. I'm on a couple of wholesalers lists, and I get fed properties all the time. There's also a website called auction.com. This is where banks and stuff are auctioning off properties that are foreclosed on. Auction.com and hubzu.com. Now, I personally have not gotten any property off these websites, but I have looked at these websites. I actually bidded on a property on auction.com. I didn't win it, but I did bid on the property. So auction.com, hubzu.com, these are places, these are websites that banks use to sell foreclosed homes. And I'm telling you, you can get most of them for pennies on the freaking dollar, and they're free to use. Everything that I've given you so far is free. You understand what I'm trying to tell you? FREE, just like the webinar that you just signed up for. Free. Another source that people overlook, Facebook groups. I am in several Facebook groups that pertain to real estate investing. All right. Now, you got to be careful about scammers. I already told y'all that, right? So you got to do your due diligence. So, but in Facebook groups, there are people that list properties for sale. Look at that. Facebook Marketplace. There are people that are listing properties for sale. Again, beware of scammers. You got to do the research. If they're giving you an address and whatnot, look that thing up, man, you know, and never exchange money to the seller or the wholesaler or whoever has the property without an attorney being involved. Do you understand that? Comment yes if you understand what I just said. Never exchange money with hey Leola. Yes, Leola says she's a wholesaler. She says connect. Put her up right there. Leola, drop your information in the chat so everybody can see it. Never exchange money with anyone unless an attorney is involved. Please comment yes if y'all understand that. Please, yes, yes. I need to see it. Yes, yes, yes. Please, come on, comment. Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. That's how you're going to protect yourself. Okay. All right. So Facebook groups are a great place to find properties. Facebook Marketplace, a great place to find properties. A lot of time, Tracy Levine says she is a wholesaler as well. Wholesalers that are in this chat, in this webinar right now, drop your information so people can connect with you. And I happen to know both of these ladies, and they are upright ladies. You can trust them. I will tell y'all that. Okay. So that is one of the things I wanted to put out there. So Facebook groups, Facebook Marketplace, meetups. Guys, get on Facebook and Google the real estate meetup groups in your area. If you're in Charlotte, Google real estate meetup groups and go to these meetings. They actually have meetings that do, some of them do training like how I'm doing right now. You can learn for free, man. You can learn for free. And they also bring in finance people that can help you as well. So go to your local real estate meetups. They're called RIAs. Go to your local real estate meetups, find out where they are, and go and meet people, man. Investors have properties that they are wanting to sell. I have a property right now on the market that's being shown today that is for sale. Listen, I put the word out through Facebook. People tell other people. My realtor tells people it's on Zillow, it's on the MLS. So you've got to go where people who have properties want to sell properties. All right. So I definitely want you to get into the circles of going to meetups, but not only get into that circle just to find properties, but you'll also find people who can finance your properties, right? Which is what we're going to cover next. All right. So let's keep it moving. You can also contact attorneys. Attorneys may have lists of people who are in probate, who may be going through a divorce, who may be having a foreclosure of that nature. You can contact them and ask them if they have anybody that is wanting to sell their house because they're in a difficult situation and they need to get rid of it. Okay, I personally have not contacted any attorneys. I've never used this method, but I've heard of people who have done this method. Okay, you can buy lists. Now, what I mean by that is there are people who sell lists online. Do your due diligence, make sure it's a reputable company that sells lists online of houses that could potentially be for sale in your market. Okay, so you can actually buy a list. Then there's this little thing called PropStream. PropStream actually generates lists for you, right? They have a 7-day trial. You can go to the website, PropStream, 7-day trial, try it out for a few days, but you can actually pull up properties that you can build a list by pulling up properties by certain criteria. Like if you want a property, let's just say a single family property with 3 bedrooms, 2 baths in a certain area, you can go to PropStream and build that, and you can look for it. And if you say, I want to make sure it doesn't have any mortgages on it, you can generate that list in PropStream. You can find the owner. You can find out if the owner owns other properties and contact them and see if they want to sell them. So PropStream is a really, really great resource. I think it's about $90 a month after your 7-day trial. So that is a service that you will pay for. So if you're not quite ready to do that, remember everything above, I have given you free ways to find properties, free freaking ways. And if you are a beginner, go with a wholesaler, because a wholesaler 9 times out of 10 has access to PropStream and can find what you're looking for, or just look at Zillow, connect with the realtors, go to the auction.com, hubzu.com, Facebook, all that good stuff. Okay. Go to tax sales. This is the time of the year where most states are having tax sales. Matter of fact, in Williamsburg County in King Street, South Carolina, they just had their tax sale. I think it was November 1st. You can find properties that way. But listen, you don't have to wait until the tax sales, because counties and towns, municipalities, they post the properties that are for sale ahead of the sale. They typically post it a month to 2 months prior to the sale. So what does that mean? That means that you can go in and still try to contact the seller and see if they will sell it to you, because 9 times out of 10, they're probably going to lose it at the tax sale anyways. And if you do that, you may be able to get it for less. Or you can just wait and go to the tax sale and bid against other people. Now, bear in mind that when you're buying properties at the tax sales, most states have a 12-month redemption period. That means that the owner of that property has up to 12 months to get that property back by paying the taxes. If they are to redeem that property, you, my friend, will get your principal money back, the money that you paid for that property, plus any interest that may have accrued. So I always tell people, if you don't mind having your money tied up for a year, 1 or 2 things is going to happen. 1, you're either going to get the property, or 2, you're going to get your money back, the principal that you paid, plus any interest, which is going to be better than sitting in a bank account anyways. That is my humble opinion. I went to a tax sale and I purchased an 1.5 acres of land. And I think about 4 or 5 months later, the owner actually came back and paid the taxes. So I was given back my $1,600 plus an additional $96. There's no way my $1,600 would have made $96 sitting up in a savings account. So I wanted the land, but hey, I'll take the $96, So tax sales, and you can go to, some people have tax sales online. I'll be honest with you. I am not a guru in tax sales online or in other states. I have just gone to the tax sales in my county. But what I can tell you from being there, I've seen where people have paid $25,000 for like 100 acres of land. Come on now, think about that. Let that resonate while I drink some water. $25,000 for an acre of land. I paid, I bid it $1,600 for 1.5 acres. I was there where they had like 0.10, 0.10 is not a lot of land, or 0.25 is not a lot of land. But they were actually auctioning off land for $100, $200, $300, $500. Come on now. Think about that. God's not making any more land. So tax sales is another way. Most times you have to have your money the same day to pay for it, or within 2 to 3 days. It depends on what your municipality rules are. I will say this. I put out a video that says, always make sure you do a title search. So if you know that you're going to go to a tax sale and buy somebody's property, again, Most municipalities put out these lists a month or 2 months ahead of time. You should be contacting a title search company or an attorney to do a title search to make sure that title is clear, okay? Because I'm in the process of buying a property right now that someone bought from a tax sale years ago. Now, unfortunately, there is a lien against the property from the previous mortgage company. Now, the mortgage is paid, but unfortunately, the mortgage company did not release the lien. And the mortgage company has now since gone out of business. Well, the person who bought it from a tax sale didn't do a title search. They thought they owned it free and clear. Now they're trying to sell it to me. I went to an attorney because I don't do business unless an attorney is involved. I'm in South Carolina. South Carolina is an attorney state. Some states just have title companies. So I don't do business unless an attorney is involved. Went to the attorney, did the title search, and boom, lo and behold, there is a lien against the property. So that means that I would never own it free and clear unless we clear that lien. So now we're going to have to try another method to try to get that lien clear, which means employing another attorney, which means even more money. All right. So just wanted to drop that in y'all's spirit. Are y'all feeling me right now? Is this some good information? Comment yes. Comment yes. Are you learning something? Comment yes. Let me know. Comment yes. Or comment no. If you don't feel like it's good information, if you feel like you're not learning anything. Thank you, Pamela. Pamela says yes. Appreciate that. Claretta says yes. Joy says yes. Tracy says yes. Tashima says yes. Lawrence says yes. Angela says yes. Good. Julius and Raphael says yes. All right, well, we're going to keep it moving. Keep it moving. All right, so another way is classified ads. Pick up the paper, man. Yeah, the newspaper is still being printed. So you can actually use the newspaper and actually look and see who's selling property. It's as simple as that. Go through the classified ads or Craigslist. Let me put a disclaimer out there with Craigslist. Just be very careful because of scammers. I mean, you got scammers everywhere, but I've listed property for rent through Zillow.com. And that's another class that we'll teach is how, once you have property, how do you get tenants and all of that good stuff. I've listed a property through Zillow.com because it's free. And Zillow does the background check. It does the credit check. It takes the employment. It does the employment check. It takes their income and everything. And the person applying for the application to rent only pays $29, right? But I've listed my properties on Zillow to get potential renters, and people on Craigslist have actually copied my listing and put it on Craigslist. And that's happened to me a couple of times. So there's nothing I can do about it. All I can do is report to Craigslist that it's a scam. Unfortunately, there have been some people who have paid a deposit. I don't understand why people do this. Why would you pay a deposit to somebody and you haven't seen the property or anything of that nature? But hey, it is what it is. So I said that to say this: if you see property for sale on Craigslist, just be wary, do your due diligence, but that's with any and everything. Drive by. I love this, not the shoot 'em up style, but drive by looking for properties. This is a free method as well. Remember, classified ads is free. Everything so far I've given you has been free except for buying lists and prop streams. Okay. Drive by, put some gas in your car. All right. Might take $3 unleaded per gallon, but put some gas in your car and do a drive-by. Go into neighborhoods and look for some of you might want to go into A-class neighborhoods. A-class neighborhoods are new houses, perfect school system. B-class neighborhoods are houses that's about 3 years older, still a good school system. C-class is houses start getting to 10, 15 years older, average school system. D, continues to go down. D and F is lower class neighborhoods, and the school system is not that great. Some people say I would never buy in a D and an F community, but here's what I came to tell you. There are people that need housing everywhere. And there are some of my investor friends who only buy in D and F communities. And because they realize, hey, I can deal with people like that. I can handle them. People need a place to stay. Listen, I'm gonna service them. So drive by in the neighborhoods that you want to be an owner in if you're renting or if you want to sell. So I'll get in my car because I've loved looking at houses ever since I was a kid. I'll get in my car and I'll just drive by. And if I see something that looks vacant, or if I see something that's not being taken care of, or if I see something that has a paper on the door that looks like they owe taxes, I am stopping and I'm getting the address, and or not only am I getting the address, but I'm also going to ask the neighbors, if they have neighbors, who lives here or who used to live here, who owns this property. Can you give me any information on it? Because a lot of times neighbors want to give you that information because they want the properties beside them to be cleaned up. You may not get the equity, but you'll certainly get the cash flow in DNF areas. That is 100% true, Calandria. So, and that is another class that we will cover. Yes, that is very, 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 very true. You will get cash flow. What is cash flow? Let me just drop that real quick. This is my definition of cash flow. Cash flow is the money that you make on a property after you pay all the expenses. It's the money that you bring to the house. That means if you have a mortgage on it, it's the money that you get from a tenant. If your rent is $1,500, right? That's the money you get from a tenant, and you pay the mortgage. You pay if you're paying landscaping, you pay the landscaping. You set aside money for repairs. You set aside money for vacancy. You set aside money for any capital expenditures that may come up, insurance, taxes, all that good stuff. You pay all that good stuff. Whatever is left from that rent and your expenses is the cash flow. That's the money that you bring to the house, and we always want positive cash flow unless you've got a lot of properties to offset that and you are banking on appreciation. All right. Appreciation is really how you get rich. I used to say back in the day, oh no, it's cash flow, but appreciation is really how you get rich. I live in Horry County, and in Horry County right now, appreciation is like 15 to 18% a year. So you do the math. You buy $100,000 house, you hold it for a year, it's appreciated 15%. That's $15,000 you just made just living in your house. All right. That's just something to think about. I feel cash flow is more important than net worth. And I think that just depends on everybody where you are. I like both. I like cash flow and I like appreciation. So it depends on where you are in your investing journey on what is going to be better for you. Just like some people say, never pay off your primary mortgage because it's a liability. It depends on where you are in life. Because at this point in stage right now, with appreciation going up, I don't feel like a single family home that you're living in primary is a liability, because that could, when we get into financing properties, that could actually be the cash cow that leads you to buy other investment properties. So it depends on where you are in life. Not every shoe fits every person. So you got to get in your lane and know where you want to drive. Contractors are great. Listen, they working with people. They know other investors. They can give you leads. They can let you know there's a property over here. You should look into it. I get that all the time from my contractors. They tell me all the time, listen, Sue, there's a property over here. You might want to check it out. So tap into contractors and ask them if they have any leads on anybody who's selling a house that want to get rid of a house. Okay. Also, I didn't put it on here, but let people know what you do. Put it on social media. The reason why I just picked up 5 houses. We're still in November. We're in November. I picked up 5 houses last month, October. I picked up 5 houses because people know what I do. I let people know what I do. I put it on social media. I tell people that I meet all the time what I do. And so a few of the houses that I have gotten has been because somebody inboxed me and say, hey, Sue, will you take a look at this property? Are you interested in buying? Simple as that. I'm not paying anybody to do anything for me. People are coming to me. And so I picked up 5 houses last month based on an inbox on Facebook. Tell people what you do. Tell people what you are looking for. Let them know. And social media has been a blessing for me. So what is let me see, what is that? The last thing on my list. Banks. Yes, banks. Go ahead and take a screenshot of this, guys, because we're about to leave this slide. Banks are not in the business to hold properties, right? So call banks or either go to their websites and ask them if they have any REO, and that's real estate owned. Banks are not in the business to hold real estate on their books. So if they have any real estate that they own and they want to sell, contact them and they could sell it for less. You can also go to HUD.gov. Guys, there's so many different places to find properties. You can go to HUD.gov, HUD.gov. They have properties. You can go to, I actually looked at a property that was with Department of Transportation, guys. Department of Transportation had a property that they were selling for $8,500. How did I find this property? I didn't know Department of Transportation sold property. Facebook friend, because I tell people what I do, inboxed me and said, Sue, you should check out this house with DOT. It was $8,500. The only thing is you had to move the house. I couldn't find any movers. And then when I did find a mover, I couldn't find a new mover fast enough. And then when I did find a mover, by that time, DOT said the house was already sold. So Department of Transportation does sell houses. So like I said, a lot of different places where you guys can find properties, and take a screenshot of that. And we're going to go to the next slide. We're doing good. Oh, it's 12:30. I got to hurry up. Because I'm going to leave time for questions. All right, moving to the next slide. Let's see here. Financing properties. How do you get the money to buy these properties? So you can use your own money. If you're comfortable with that, use your own money. When I bought the 5 properties last month, I used my own money because I needed to get in there fast, and I knew I wanted to make this deal quick. It was a great deal, and I didn't want to chance it, and boom. So I used my own money. You can use private money. Private money is money that I like to say from friends and family. Private money is great money. It's other people's money, right? OPM. You down with OPM? Yes, I am. Using other people's money. Private money, most times when it's family and friends or somebody really, really close, sometimes you can, generate some great terms. Sometimes you can do 0% interest. Come on, somebody, I love them terms. Sometimes you can do, and again, you want to do contracts. Okay. You want everything, guys. You want to get contracts, right? Also, when I'm using other people's money, we are doing contracts, and I am also making, they own the property, the interest, the investment is theirs, the property, until I make good on it, till I either refinance it if I'm going to put a tenant in and pay them out, or I either sell the property and pay them out. Okay. So they become the mortgagee. So, private money, like again, you can set your own terms. Sometimes family and friends will loan it to you for 0% interest. Sometimes they'll give it to you for a year. So it's really a great way to go. Banks, if you got the credit score, all that great stuff, you can do VA loans, FHA loans, and USDA and conventional loans. Here's the thing about VA loans. I know you're probably saying, but Sue, and it's for veterans. I'm a veteran. I'm a prior Marine. Well, they say once a Marine, always a Marine. I'm a Marine. So with the VA loans and FHA loans, you can buy, and conventional loans, you can buy small multifamily units. Small multifamily units are duplexes, triplexes, and quads. So what does that mean? Instead of you buying a single family home, right, and moving into it, you can buy a duplex and instantly become an investor. You can live in one side, and rent out the other side. Buy a triplex, live in one side, rent out the other 2 sides. Buy a quad, live in one side, rent out the other 3 sides. And with the VA loan, it's 0% down, and you automatically become an investor. You can't freaking beat that. FHA is 3.5% down. You can do the same thing. USDA, they have 0% down loans, but they don't do the small multifamily units. It's primary, and conventional will do that as well. All right. FHA now, I think they're changing the rule on November 20th. I got to go back and double check. So don't quote me on this. Don't hold me to this. But I think FHA now is, even if you're not going to live in a duplex, triplex, or quad, they're making it to where you can put 5% down as an investor and still buy these properties. Come on, somebody. Do you understand what that means? That means you could find a $100,000 duplex and only have to put 5% down. Of course, pay closing costs. But come on. 5% of $100,000 is $5,000 freaking dollars. Come on, somebody. So it's getting better, in my opinion. Hard money lenders. Hard money lenders are people that loan you money based on the asset. I use Rehab Wallet, rehabwallet.com. They'll probably have them on the next webinar. They were going to come on this time, but it was a little bit too late in the game. Thank you, Calandria, Ms. Williams. It was a little bit too late in the game when we connected. But I use Rehab Wallet. I've been using them. I use them for several of my loans. Let me tell you why hard money lenders, I love Rehab Wallet, is because I get the money ASAP. Usually after I do an application, boom, the next day we're rocking and rolling. We're getting to an attorney's office in 2 weeks, 2-3 weeks tops. I'm closing on a loan, right? So they loan you the money based off the asset, which is the actual real estate. They don't care about what's in your bank. They don't care about your credit score. They don't ask you for no tax returns, none of that. Okay. They are going to charge you, I think it's 2 points on the loan. And of course, you're going to pay closing fees. And they will, what will they fund? Will they fund, is it 90%? I can't even remember, because right now I'm a VIP customer, so they fund 100% of my loans, so 100%. But you can check them out, rehabwallet.com. Maybe on the next webinar, we will have someone, Angie, in to talk to us how Rehab Wallet does their funding. But you can actually go to their website and check them out as well. If you got a 401k and you feel comfortable pulling the money from that to do a down payment on real estate investment property, then go for it. Go for it. Because you have to just look at your rate of return. I mean, the rate of investment and all that good stuff. Everything that I'm telling you guys, you got to do what's comfortable for you. Even when it comes down to using credit cards to buy properties, I have done that, but I do that with a plan. You got to have a freaking plan. How are you going to pay this thing back off, right? Because if you got 0% interest on a credit card for a year, and you know that you can get a property and turn it around if you want to rehab it, and put a tenant in it or sell it, and you can pay off that credit card, why not do it? It's 0% interest. It's like using cash. But you got to do what's smart for you, and you got to have a freaking plan. HELOC, home equity line of credit. You got a house. I don't know of anybody really that's doing HELOCs on investment property. So basically it's on your primary property. So if you have a house and it's got a bunch of equity in it, remember I said that a little bit earlier, that could be your cash cow. That could be the money that you use to buy your investment properties, because you, like most of us, you may have like a 2.75% interest rate, 3.75% interest rate on your primary mortgage. Nobody wants to mess that up. Ain't nobody finna mess that up to go get an 8% interest rate to do a refinance. No. What you would want to do is, if you qualify, is get a HELOC, home equity line of credit. And it works pretty much like a credit card. They're going to loan you money based off the equity that you have available in your house. And anytime that you use it, that's what you make a payment on. And if they give you 50,000, let's just say you use 40,000, and then you pay off that money in 3 months, boom, now you got access to 50,000 again. It's like a credit card, revolving line of credit. You can do your further research on that if you are interested in that. The interest rate is going to be a little bit higher, but the great thing about that is that it does not mess with your primary mortgage, right? If you've got great interest rates at 4% right now, 5%, heck, even 6% right now, you don't want to touch that right now. You want to leave that primary interest rate on your primary mortgage just where it is, and see if you qualify for a HELOC if you have the equity in your property. Also have real estate fund on there. Now, and what I mean by that, real estate fund, meaning a group of you can get together and pool your money together to go in and buy properties. Okay. Again, I always advise that you have paperwork in place. How you going to do that? All right. I love seller finance. I've done that as well. Seller finance allows me, I'm sorry, said someone was at my door. Sorry about that, guys. Seller finance allows me the opportunity to get property and negotiate the terms. I bought a property that I found off Zillow, going back to a free method. I went to Zillow and I clicked on for sale by owners. If you don't know that, Zillow, Realtor.com, I think Realtor.com has it as well, but they have a section that says for sale by owners. And I clicked on it for sale by owners, seeing where a guy was selling the property. I think I've done run through so many properties. I'm trying to remember how much it was for. I think it was for $29,000. I can't remember. He was selling the property for $29,000. So I was like, let me contact him and let me see if he's willing to do, a seller finance. And what that means is he didn't have a mortgage on the property. I wanted to see if he would be the bank. If we could go to an attorney, I enter into a mortgage with him. He's the owner, he's the bank, and we set terms. We set a term for 5 years at 8% interest rate. I put down, he was requiring $4,000, but there were other people looking at the house, so I put down $7,000, okay? Because I wanted to show him that I really wanted it. I knew I was going to refinance the house. I was going to fix the house and refinance it and pay him out, which is what I did, as well as put money in my pocket and put a tenant into the house. But the thing about seller finance, you get to negotiate your own terms. Sometimes it just depends. You can get creative. Sometimes you can say, hey, if you'll do me 0% interest Instead of me paying you what you're asking, $29,000, I'll give you $35,000. They may do it because they're getting a little bit more money, because in your mind, you've already done the analyzation, the computation to understand that this house is going to make money. I have room in my budget to give him another $6,000, $7,000, $10,000 just so I can get a 0% interest rate. So it just depends on how you want to do it. But at the end of the day, everything needs to go to an attorney. And that's exactly what we did. We had the mortgage recorded, the deed recorded. We went through an attorney, and boom, every month I sent him $385 as my mortgage payment on that house while I was fixing it up. And then once I got it refinanced, the bank paid him out, gave me the difference in what I owed him and the equity I was getting, put that money in my pocket, and then I put a tenant into the house, and they paid the new mortgage payment to the bank plus the taxes and the insurance. And I still made an extra $400 or $500 a month on cash flow. All right. So sometimes you can negotiate things with sellers to where you put down very little down payment. Sometimes you can negotiate, hey, I don't want to put anything down. Let's do a 2-year balloon payment. That means amortized over 30 years. That means in 2 years, I have to give you the entire balance in 2 years, because some people may not want to do a 5-year or 10-year or 20-year or 30-year loan. So it just depends on how you and that seller set that up. I want you guys to take a picture of this, because these are some of the ways that you can finance the properties. So how do I find hard money lenders? Listen, I want you to go to biggerpockets.com. They've got some great information out there, a lot of great podcasts, a lot of great books, a lot of great forums. But what people don't even know is that biggerpockets.com has, I don't know, maybe 1,000 lenders that you can go on there and look and see what they offer. Biggerpockets.com. If you're looking for other financiers, you can go to Google. You can ask other investors, please take a picture of this, take a picture of this. But there's so many different ways that you can finance a property. This is not an all-inclusive list. This is just some of the things that I have tried, some of the things that some of my investor friends have tried, and we know it works. Listen, I tell people all the time, it's always a great time to buy real estate as long as you buy right. If you know what your numbers are, you know what your exit strategy is, you know what the plan is, it's always a great time to buy real estate. All right. And that brings me to the question and answer period. So let's talk about it. Anybody got any questions? If you want a more in-depth training, you can always go to my website, moneywithrealestate.com. There is a serious webinar there. It's free. I think it's like 2 hours. I mean, I'm going boom, 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 going in for you. And I've gotten so many great comments about that webinar where people were able to understand how this thing works. So definitely go there and check that out. If you want to follow me on YouTube, Facebook, and IG, there's my information right there. But at this time, we got 17 minutes, Dougie Fresh, 17 minutes. Any questions about what we have covered? Any comments, anything you want to say? I am here for it until 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hey, Sonia, let's see what Sonia says. How can you buy an investment property while living in your primary home if primary is with FHA? I was told you must sell, rent your primary before buying investment property. This would be the first investment property for me. How long have you had your FHA loan? If you lived in that property for a year, if you lived in that property for a year and you wanted to move, you can do that. But now with the new law that is coming out, that is supposed to be becoming effective November 20th, you can still use an FHA loan and put down 5%. It might not be 3.5%, but it'll be 5%. Also, Google the FHA thing, FHA laws. If you are you can have 2 FHA loans at once. If you lived in that house for a year, you can go and buy another house. You might want to buy a bigger house, or you may be relocating due to a job. There are different reasons why you can have a second FHA loan. And again, on November 20th, you should be okay with getting an investment property because they're changing the laws to 5%. All right, so check that out with the new laws on November 20th. I got to study up on that myself. How far do you purchase for flips, buy and hold, etc.? Wilmington is super expensive. Yeah, Wilmington is super expensive. I'll be very honest with you. I purchase in my backyard. I purchase out about an hour to 2 hours, to be honest with you, in the state of South Carolina. I haven't purchased anything in North Carolina or anything outside of South Carolina. And the reason for that for me is because I'm gonna be very, very honest with you. I think the hardest part of doing all this is contractors. If you are buying a property to fix, it's contractors. Now, let me say this. You don't necessarily have to buy properties that you fix. You can buy properties that are already a freaking business, right? Like I got a mobile home, didn't need it. The only thing I had to do with the mobile home was just pressure wash it. Pressure wash the mobile home, and I was ready to put a tenant in it. And as far as I was concerned, that was a win-win. So if I see something like that maybe does not require any work, then I have no problems with purchasing outside of my state, because I know I don't have to rely on outside contractors. If I got to rely on outside contractors from a different state, then the first thing I'm going to do is build relationships with realtors and other investors so I can have them checking in on the property for me. Also, one thing I forgot, please, property managers, connect with property management companies. They are a great source for finding contractors, and they are a great source for finding properties. So you want to form a great relationship with them as well. Now, sometimes you can just buy a business. Sometimes buying out of state, like I said, I told you about the mobile home. It didn't have anybody in it. I just had to pressure wash it and put people in it. But sometimes you can buy a business. Sometimes people are selling properties that already have a tenant in it, and it doesn't need anything done. They don't need anything done with it. Sometimes people just don't want to be a landlord or have property managers deal with their tenants, so they just sell you the business. That's how I consider it. If you're selling me a house that has a good paying tenant in it, and I love Section 8 tenants, that money is coming from the government every month, that the house is in good standing, and that tenant is taking care of that house, and it's Section 8 money, I have no problem with buying out of state, doing something like that, because I feel like that's buying a business that's already up and running and cash flowing. Hopefully I answered that question for you. Who's a good hard money lender for first-time investors? Great question. Rehab Wallet wants you to have at least 2 deals under your belt. Now, getting those 2 deals under your belt, you can actually do a joint venture with someone. So if you know somebody who's an investor that is doing this thing, you can actually partner up with them. Maybe you can bring the down payment to the deal. Maybe you can do something to where someone would want to partner with you. But your question is, who's a good one for first-time investors? I would say go to biggerpockets.com and look up some people. I have actually used ILS.cash. I think it is ILS.cash. Some things you want to ask. Let me put that in there. I think it's ILS.cash. That's what it is. That's an I, guys. ILS.cash. I think that's the website. Things you want to ask the lender is, if you're in a rural area, or if the property is in a rural area, ask them if they will lend in a rural area. You want to ask them what is the max LTV, loan to value, the max that they will loan on that property, amount of money they'll loan on that property. Ask them how much money you got to put down. Ask them what their points are. Ask them if they're loaning just based on the asset. That's a DSR loan, debt service coverage ratio loan. They're loaning based on the asset. They want to know that the asset is going to generate enough money to pay them back. So there are different things that you can ask a lender, but ILS.cash is one that I know. There are also brokers who can find people that will do that for you. And because I'm a mortgage loan officer / broker, I will be able to do that. However, I'm still onboarding with my company, so I'm not, in a position to help anybody right now. But in the next week or 2, I will be able to help. But for right now, I would say biggerpockets.com. Let's see. Do you have any information about commercial real estate? Also, will you be sharing the screen slides with the group? I really want you, what I'll do is I'll send this recording back to the group, and you guys can, watch this as many times as you want and screenshot the slides. What specifically about commercial real estate are you asking? I will be very honest with you. I don't own commercial real estate. I do own a couple of duplexes. But that's small multifamily. When you start talking commercial, when you're talking about units, you're talking about 5 units or more, or either you're talking about office space, warehouse, you're talking about storage components, those things. I don't do that. I am studying those things because I do want to move up into storage facilities. So that is my honest answer about that. You're more than welcome, Sonia. Thank you, Leola, with How do you vet your tenants? I vet my tenants. Well, first thing I do is I'm going through Zillow.com because Zillow only charges them $29. You got some people. Okay, first of all, let me say this. Either you hire a property manager to do all that for you, okay, or you do it yourself. Hire a property management company to do that for you, or you do it yourself. How do you find property management companies? That's going to be another series that we'll teach on. You can Google them. You can get references from all the different places that I just listed on this webinar: realtors, contractors, going to meetups, Google, all that great stuff. So if you yourself are going to do the rental process and all of that, be the landlord, then the way that I do it is I'm putting my stuff on Zillow and I am listing my property and I am stating, what I am looking for. I'm gonna be very honest with you. It's very hard to find people who make 3 times the rent. A lot of people are looking for people who make their income has to be 3 times the rent. Example, if the rent is $1,000, they're saying that in order to qualify for this property, you have to make 3 times the rent. That means you have to make $3,000. It depends on where you are, but in the area that I am in the area that I service mostly, which is Williamsburg County and Lower Florence County, a lot of people don't make that kind of money. So I kind of like took that stipulation away because I'm also looking to help Section 8 people. And a lot of people don't want to take Section 8 clients because they have this stereotype about Section 8 clients being nasty, being rude, being dirty, and that is not always the case. You can have that with people with 800 credit scores. You can have that with people making a 6-figure income. Okay, people going people. So the way I screen it is through Zillow.com. I put my property out there. I tell them I'm Section 8 is welcome to apply. I'm looking for at least 2 times the rent because you can't. If my rent is $1,000, you can't tell me you're only making $1,000 a month and think that you're going to afford $1,000 rent. It's just not possible because you probably got some children. You probably have a car note. You got to pay utilities, for God's sake. So that's not going to fly for me. So you need to make at least 2 times the rent. I'm looking at the credit. For me, because of the area that I'm in, credit is not a really, really big thing. I typically don't really like to deal with people who have evictions, all right? If it's been about 2 years or more, I'll kind of, okay, maybe. But typically, I don't like to deal with people with evictions unless you're now on a Section 8 program. And I know that the money is coming. I haven't done this, but some of my friends, they go and they look at people's current living conditions. They go to see how they're currently living to determine if they want that person living in their house. I haven't done that. I'm looking at the income and all of that information is being given to me through Zillow that I didn't even have to pay for. The applicant pays a $29 fee. I'm verifying because they're putting down the last place they lived. I'm calling and I'm verifying that they paid on time, and I'm verifying that they were good, clean, not rowdy, but body tenants. Okay. I am looking at their employment. How long have they been there? Are they like somebody that's jumping around all the time, that's unstable? That's important to me. Again, eviction and whatnot. Credit score, it's not really a big thing for me. Some people straight up tell you they want a 620 credit score. You got to have a 660 credit score. You got a 680 credit score. And I can understand why a lot of people say that, because typically if you got 680 credit score or higher, you're not going to do anything to jeopardize your credit because credit is so important in today's climate, right? However, I know the community that I serve when it comes to rentals, and credit may not be the best. So I am open to second chances, right? And I'm looking at references. That's what I am looking for. Hopefully that answered your question. Lawrence, don't really know much about commercial. Again, I am studying up on that, retail, strip malls, and industrial. I know me personally, I'm not looking to do retail strip malls because when I look around different places, a lot of the retail strip malls are becoming vacant. So, but what I do see is that people are continuously putting up storage facilities, especially in the Myrtle Beach area for boats and whatnot, because a lot of people are migrating to Myrtle Beach and people are needing that storage. And a lot of things about great thing with storage is even if it's not boat storage or RV storage, you don't have to deal with people, man. And most times that money is automated. You're drafting it off their credit card every month. So that money is coming to you. So if you want to do an increase, you can do an increase. And most people don't even notice it because it's being drafted off their credit cards. You just simply send them a notice and boom, we're going up on the fees and boom, you ain't got to worry about fixing nothing. You just make sure the storage facility is clean. So sorry, I can't help you there, bro. What's the percentage or amount of money that you look for in order for a property to be profitable? Good question. It's so funny. Most people say they're looking for 12% return on their money. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't even look at any of that. I just look at, and this is just me, you have to do what's best for you. I look at, boom, if I'm buying a house, I just bought a house for 40 grand and I fixed this house and it cost me $60,000 to fix this house. 40,000, 60,000, that's $100,000. By the way, I'm borrowing all the money. I'm borrowing the money to buy it. I'm borrowing the money to fix it. And I fixed this house and all in is $100,000. And if I can sell it for $180,000, that's all that matters to me. So what I'm doing is I'm looking at the house, what I can get it for, how much it's going to cost me to fix. And then I'm also looking at the after repair value. What is this house going to be worth after I fix it? This is another reason why you want to become really great friends with realtors, because if you don't know how to look at comps yourself, meaning go to Zillow or realtor.com and look for similar properties to determine the value, then you want to get with a realtor who can run a CMA for you, which is cost market analysis. And what that is they're basically running comps to tell you what this property could be worth after you fixed it based on similar properties. But as an investor, you also want to know how to be able to do that yourself. Just simply go to Zillow and look for properties that have sold in and around that area that are similar to yours. Now, you don't want to compare apples to oranges. You know that your house is going to be completely remodeled. So you don't want to compare your 3-bedroom, 2-bath to a house that sold and it was completely not remodeled, right? Don't base your value off of that. Your value is going to be based off something that's similar, which means remodeled. Also, if your house has 0.5 acres and everything else is the same, but you have 0.5 acres and the house you're trying to compare it to has 50 acres, that's apples to oranges. You can't compare the value like that, okay? So that's just something to think about. So I'm just looking at what it's going to cost me, how much it costs to fix it, and what will this house be worth? And what's in between there is good for me. If I can make $20,000 off a house, I'm happy. I typically don't make $20,000 off a house. I'm typically making anywhere between $40,000 to 6 figures off a house. That's what I'm looking for. Bottom line, 40,000. And for me, I'm like, hey, even though if I'm selling that house, it's going to be taxed. My thing is I didn't have to go to a job to do that. Number one, I didn't have to go to a job. Number two, I'm employing a lot of people because of what I do. I'm employing contractors. I'm employing insurance agents. I'm employing attorneys. I'm employing people who survey the land. I'm employing all kinds of people that go into a real estate transaction. And I'm also cleaning up the neighborhood. Now, if I'm refinancing that property, what I'm looking at is, okay, yeah, I might have paid 40 for the house and 60 for fixing it. That's 100,000. And yes, it may be worth 180, but the bank is only going to give me 75%, 70 to 75% of that value. So now I'm doing the math backwards. 70% of $180,000. Is that going to be worth it to me to do that house? Because I got to pay back my hard money lenders, the $100,000 I used to buy and fix the house. And then I want to take a little cash to the house. And that cash that I take to the house is non-taxable because it's a loan. And then I'm looking at, okay, what is that mortgage payment going to be? Because am I going to be able to get enough rent to take care of that mortgage payment, the taxes and the insurance and the interest, right? As well as money that I want to put aside for if anything goes wrong with that house and for any vacancies. And that's how I look at that. Does the course you offer include one-on-one time with you through the first investing venture? So here's how that works with my course. Thank you for asking that. With my course, you have access to a small Facebook group with me and other investors, and you can ask your questions there. Now, what I do is I always invite my investors to come with me on my projects. So it's because, there's a lot of scammers out there. And then plus, I do believe that some people learn by being in the project themselves. So I've had some investors show up. They've actually come to see how housing inspectors inspect the house, what they look for and whatnot. They come up where they've been on a job with me. And I said, see, there's no contractors here today. Where the hell are they at? You know what I'm saying? Because that happens. So they get to see that somebody should be working every day, but ain't nobody working today, right? So I invite you to come out on my job sites. We do webinars. We bring people in. And if you need a one-on-one, I have no problem with doing that. It's just that it has to be done virtually unless you are local to me. If you're local to me and it's not too far away, I have no problem with coming on your job sites and giving information and giving recommendation and advice. But otherwise, everything is done virtually. So hopefully that answered your question. I was looking into storage last week. How ironic. Yeah. Going through Zillow, do the tenants remit payments directly to you, or how does that work? The tenants can, Zillow does payments. Good question, Pamela. You can take payment. Everything is so automated now, guys. It's so crazy. You can take payments through Zillow for your rentals. If that's what you want to do, you can create a lease through Zillow. I've never done it. I use avail.co. But there are so many different places that you can generate a lease. You can generate payments. You can have your tenants put in their maintenance requests, all kinds of stuff. It's the property management software that's online. I mean, you have you have Buildium, you have it's so many different ones. You can Google property management software, avail.co, and now I can't even think of them. But Zillow does it. Yes, you can take payments from your tenants. You can take maintenance requests. You can Google property management software and look at what's good for you. All right, let's see. Hard money lenders bridge monies around 10% at 100% financing. Does that sound about right? I know most DCR is 20% down, which is a struggle. Not all DSCR is 20% down. It just depends on the lenders. Or not all lenders are created equal. Again, if you've got research, if you've done 2 or more properties, you can get with Rehab Wallet with 10% down. Once you've done, I think, 2 properties with Rehab Wallet, then it goes down to 5% down. Once you've done 3 properties or more, then it's 0% down. Now you still got to pay the points, but it's 0% down. Another reason why I like Rehab Wallet is because a lot of hard money lenders, before they dispense the money to you, it's called a draw. Before they send the money to you to fix it, you have to show them proof of what you fixed. And most times you have to pay like $100 for them to come out and inspect it. But Rehab Wallet, all I do is pick up my phone. I pick up my phone and I send them a video of the work that's been done or a picture, and boom, they deposit the money into my account the same day or the next day. So not all hard money lenders bridge money are created equal. You have to do your research. Biggerpockets.com, go to their lenders tab and start doing that research. Let's see. I don't want to miss. What is hard money lender and DSCR? Hard money lenders are people that just loan based off the assets. They don't really care about your credit. They don't care about how much money you got in the bank. They don't care about your tax returns. They're loaning you money based off the asset. Sometimes it can be short term, 6 months. So 6 months to a year. That means you have 6 months to a year to pay them back their money. That's why you have to have an exit strategy. You have to know how you're going to pay them back. Are you going to refinance the loan and pay them their money back? Or are you going to sell the property and still pay them their money back and then walk away with your profits? All right. You have some hard money lenders that will do 2 years, but typically it's anywhere between 6 months to 12 months. Some will do 2 years. Now, there's also hard money lenders that do 30-year financing, but that's on permanent financing. That's once you've already fixed the house. If you're rehabbing, after you've already fixed the house, then you can do a 30-year loan with them. Cool beans, you got 1 property already. That's what's up. Oh, just didn't know what the acronym stood for. Yeah. And DSCR is debt service coverage ratio. Basically, what they're looking at is if you're going to put a tenant into that house, they want to make sure that the amount that you're charging for rent is going to be enough to cover the debt. DSCR, debt service coverage ratio. So they don't care about how much money you make, how much money you have in the bank. They just want to know that the lease, that amount, the rent is going to cover that debt that they're going to loan you for on that house. And you don't have to apologize for anything. I hope I didn't miss anybody's questions. Did I miss any questions? So would you guys like for me to, it's 104. Oh my God, we did great. Would you guys like for me to do this like once or twice a month, come out with a series and just teach different things? Because I love sharing knowledge. I have a lot of people always asking me questions, and I just really don't have the time to just answer everybody individually. So I figured doing this would serve a few purposes. I could help more people at once. And number two, I could build up my YouTube channel by putting that information out there so that when people do come to my inbox, I can just send them to the video and keep it moving. So you guys said yes, so I will do more of these. All I ask is that if you guys found this webinar through my Facebook page, I ask, awesome, we have purchased your course and going through it now. We definitely would like to get with you one-on-one because we are brand new to Invest and Wear Influence. Awesome, we can definitely do that. Would love to do that. We will definitely make that happen. So yeah, just shoot me an email, suham1@yahoo.com, suham1@yahoo.com. Shoot me an email, Julius. Yeah, just go out, guys. If you found this, don't do it if you don't want to, but if you felt like this was very informational and it really, really helped you, please go out and tag me on Facebook and just say, hey, this was a great webinar. And I would really appreciate that. To look into real estate. Yes. And let me be clear, guys. I'm not saying that real estate doesn't require work. Everything requires work, right? When I was going to a job that I hated with a passion, that required work. That required me to get up and go and still perform with excellence, even though I hated that job. But for me, I love real estate because I can dictate my own schedule. I can dictate my own schedule to do what I want. I'm putting that. Now, and then I can dictate my own schedule. It does require work, right? But to me, it's so worth it because I always tell people, if you could just sell one house a year and make 40,000, 50,000, 60,000, hell, 20,000, you're supplementing your income because you don't got to quit your job. I don't encourage nobody to quit their job. If they like their job or whatever, keep your job. You know what I'm saying? But you can supplement your income. Also, you can buy one duplex, man. One duplex. You got a child that's 2 years old. And keep that duplex until that child's 18 years old. Boom, that's the college money for your kid. If your kid wants to go to college, you could either sell that duplex or you could refinance that duplex and pull the money out, the equity, and boom, send that kid to college, man. And then you still generate money every month from the cash flow with the two tenants that are in there. So I just want people to look at things a little differently. Jessica says, oh God, yes, please, we'll definitely do that. But yeah, so I'll continue to do this. But if you want one-on-one, and if you haven't bought my course and you want consulting, I do offer 1 hour consultations for $250, and you can book that with moneywithrealestate.com. Other than that, I may not answer DMs because I'm so busy. That's why I wanted to get back in this way. But if you are in our course, when you do a consultation, I do make myself available. So guys, thank you. I hope you'll go back to Facebook or wherever you found out this information about this webinar and put out a favorable review. Until next time, enjoy yourselves. And I'll definitely be letting you know when the next session is. And I'll definitely send you the replay of this. Y'all take care. Peace.